That's your truth. And we're going live today on Sunday, which is July 27th. And here in St. Louis, Missouri, we are going through a heat wave for the last week. It's going to last almost 10 days. And for those of you who are here in the Midwest and definitely in St. Louis, stay cool and stay hydrated and stay safe. We don't need any heat strokes out there. What are folks doing today on Sunday? This is the Trevor Donald Experience. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And today I wanted to talk about that tech CEO who got caught at the COLDPLAY concert and some of the ramifications behind them not so innocently going to a concert, a public venue together in Massachusetts, and some of the legal and job ramifications behind that poor decision that these two adults who are nearly 50 years old made. Both of them had spouses, were married, so these two individuals were committing adultery right out in public. And what are your thoughts on that? It's interesting from a racial standpoint. We would probably consider this with this white male CEO. We live in a white male patriarchal society. We would consider this to be complete arrogance and hubris on his part. That he was probably thinking he was above the fray of getting caught, and his arrogance led to a very dumb decision. But if it was a black person, we would say that was just a dumb mistake. So we'll say with a white guy in that position, his arrogance got him in trouble. And unfortunately, many people will criticize a black male and say that was just a stupid and dumb decision. Isn't that an interesting dichotomy there based on the adjectives that would be used for a white male and a black male? But this is, what in the world were those two thinking? They work at the same company together, ASTRONOMER, which is a tech company, and look at some of the hypocrisy and dichotomy there. Both of them work for a tech company, so you're talking they should know a little bit about IT, about surveillance cameras, not only driving to the venue, if they drove together. I don't know if they came in separate cars or came together, but if they did come together, you would think from wherever they got together at and drove there, a picture was probably taken 100 times with surveillance cameras. You know, there's also drones out here in the sky. So in a day like today, in today's time, committing public crimes, trying to sell drugs, and let alone commit adultery in public is probably a very, very big mistake. And as you can see with the, as a side note, with the advent of technology again, with DNA and surveillance videos, you don't hear about many serial killers anymore. Isn't that very interesting? So with surveillance and IT, and I'm parlaying this back to the kind of company that they work for, you're seeing a drop in some of the risk aversions that take place due to surveillance cameras and let alone DNA. Many times, whether it's a serial person or somebody that committed a heinous crime, DNA and its advancements have tracked people down, let alone surveillance. So that's been a good thing from a public safety standpoint. However, hey there, how you all doing today? We got a few people in there and saying hello. Megan, is it Keister? How are you all doing? And we got a Pikmin Master. Is it Pikmin Master says hello. Hello to you all, and thank you for joining in on this Sunday. We don't have NFL football right now, so we're in this gap for those folks that love sports. we're in the heartbeat of the baseball season, but baseball is hard to watch on television. The fall is filled with the NFL, uh, and of course, in the wintertime, leading into spring, you have the NBA. Then you get this little gap where track and field, tennis, golf. Uh, for those who are avid sports fans, you get to watch a little bit of that until early September when football season will come around. And what is the only sport that has replaced God on Sunday? It is the NFL. They do an outstanding job in marketing and all of that. But back to this CEO guy, there's Andy Byron and his relationship with KRISTIN CABOT. Both of them married. Both of them are near middle age. I think that Andy Byron is 50, so he definitely should have known better. And there are going to be several legal ramifications. Both of them are married, so allegedly Andy Byron's wife has already filed for divorce and has removed herself from social media, her and her children, which is probably a smart thing to do due to the embarrassment of what her husband, Andy Byron, did out in a public venue. What could those two people have been thinking? And what does it say about their position as him as the tech CEO of ASTRONOMER, the decision making that he has to make for his shareholders, for his board, and for the employees? If your private life is not in balance, is not in a good positive place, how can your work environment be healthy? People always have it in reverse. They want to chase the dollar and be a great business person, but their personal life is falling apart. And this is a clear indication from a critical thinking standpoint. If he's got all these distractions that are taking place at his company, or the company that he works for, how is he going to be able to make sound, healthy decisions while he is having an affair with the HR director? Also, he got there in 2023. He hasn't even been there 2 full years yet, and she came in 2024, and they immediately started this relationship. He was the one that hired her. I don't know if he knew her from the past and got her there, but that was a very, very poor decision to make at a highly publicized venue. And they're in the tech industry, so they should know a little bit about cameras, surveillance, and how technology works. But I guess due to arrogance and their extreme so-called public passion for each other, they decided to do it anyway. And there's been all kinds of rumors and speculations now that this has gone public. But how embarrassing could that be for this man, Andy Byron, let alone for KRISTIN CABOT? And allegedly, she comes from a very prestigious family. And her husband hasn't said very much either, which is the right thing to do. From a legal standpoint, how do you think this is going to play out? Well, of course, we know in family law they're going to get a divorce. If there are children involved, there's going to be visitation and child support issues, especially if both of these individuals either come from high net worth families or have made a lot of money. He's a tech CEO, so we know he's getting a healthy income, and she's the head of HR, so she's getting a healthy income. But look at the hypocrisy in it. He's got to make these intellectual business decisions to move this tech company forward, and then she's the HR director. Her arrogance and hubris and hypocrisy might be greater than he is. Because what does the HR director do? They deal with issues on the job, whether it's sexual harassment, workplace harassment, issues with whether folks are doing their job correctly. She's the person that has to address these issues. Also, if they have to get rid of somebody, she's the one who has to put and make sure that the legal nomenclature in a warning the first and second time for disgruntled employee. They have to give them a warning, and then let alone have to prepare paperwork to let a person go. And of course, workplace relationships are not healthy. And for the CEO, he is definitely caught in a web because he's in a position of superiority and she's in a position of inferiority. So that is a no-no. And every one of these companies, whether you are a CEO or a businessman, or you are an athlete or a police officer or a judge, there are moral clauses in their contract. And you can get fired for morality issues. A lot of companies want you to be the face, definitely the CEO, and they want your representation to be in good standards, not only on the job, but even after hours. So you can have a football player like the guy in Kansas City who had a major car accident and left the scene. Well, he's getting in trouble not only with the law, but also with the Kansas City Chiefs. You have to keep yourself in a high standard on and off the field, or on and off of your job scenario, especially if you're in a high net worth, highly influential position. So she has conflict. She's the one that has to address workplace affairs. And that's affairs, I'm using that word broadly, whether affairs could mean a plethora of things across the board. Not only a marital affair, but all kinds of things that take place at the job. And she has to make those decisions to make sure that the company is in a sound place. Now, how can she do that when she's being hypocritical by dating the CEO secretly and also married? And I'm sure that other employees at work probably got wind of this scenario in this poor relationship. So there's probably been gossip and innuendo, which does not create a healthy work environment. So as a result of this, both of them, the CEO, Andy BYRON, resigned immediately, which he has to do. And then I hear that KRISTIN got put on leave, and of course, the writing is on the wall that she's going to have to leave. Tell me what you think. People are making very, very poor decisions in our middle ages today, and you wonder where it is coming from. Is there mental health issues encapsulated around this? These individuals were they in unhappy marriages? Well, you get out of it and you get a divorce. Well, by them getting caught anyway, they're going to get a divorce anyway as a result. But they are going to have to pay the piper. And definitely the CEO, he doesn't have a leg to stand on when he goes to divorce court and family court, if he's going to try to negotiate a settlement with his wife. He better get ready to open up his checkbook and write whatever check that he needs to write this wrong. And I don't know what the state statute is for family law in Massachusetts, but KRISTIN might be in a situation, not only her losing her job and her family and possibly getting a divorce, but also she could possibly get sued by Mr. BYRON's wife for pain and suffering as a result of this public embarrassment. So there's a lot of things. The more that you have, the more that you have to lose. Also, we have to be reminded that it takes a lifetime to build a career, and it takes one shortfall or one wrong turn to destroy it. And we're in this time of social media, national media news, cameras everywhere, and we are definitely in a time where bullying and character assassination is at a premium. So if you get caught in that web of embarrassing yourself, your family, or someone else, and you are a high net worth individual where most of America is not, you're going to get a lot of pundits that are going to come after you and character assassinate you to death. And this is what is happening to this Andy BYRON. Will he be able to get another job as a CEO? This is probably going to drag out and follow him for the rest of his life. He may never be able to be a CEO again. There is always going to be this question or this cloud over his head on can he do the right thing? Can he maintain his professionalism? And now he's being drugged in the mud through social media and being character assassinated. And what most companies, anyway, they're going to look at your resume. They don't know you from a can of paint, but they will make sure from a vetting standpoint when they look at your recommendations to see if you have sound character, especially if you're the head of a company. Are you the quarterback of an NFL team? Or you are the pitcher of a Major League Baseball team? Or the star of an NBA basketball team? They want that person to be of sound character, inwardly and outwardly. And Andy BYRON and KRISTIN CABOT dropped the ball. Will she ever get an opportunity to be an HR director again, or a head of a department? Well, I think both of them definitely probably will never be able to have a position like this as a CEO and as a head of HR in Massachusetts. You got to know that in any of these high net worth communities, there's always gossip. There's always someone trying to keep up with the Joneses. People can't wait to find out something negative about a person and start with the rumor mill going. And these two individuals just gave everybody who could potentially have been jealous of them or envied them, they put it on a platter by what they did at this Coldplay concert for people to talk about those two and their families. This is going to be fodder for the entire summer in Massachusetts. To get caught hugged up and canoodling at a Coldplay concert where there's probably 10 or 20,000 people there, and get caught on a jumbotron, and even the way they reacted afterwards, it was obvious, clearly obvious. And I think Chris Martin even noticed it. He even yelled out, either they are extremely shy or they're having an affair. It was basic common sense to see the way their reaction was when they realized they were on the kiss cam. He ducked and she turned her back, that they were doing something that they were not supposed to do. So we should look at this as a learning tool, that there are more eyeballs watching you than your two eyeballs watching them. And in today's time, it is very difficult. I would not want to be a celebrity, a professional athlete, a CEO of a company in today's time when you have all these eyeballs on you, and you got to walk the straight line each and every day. That's a lot of pressure. We are humans. We were born to fail. Nobody's perfect. But this is a very unfortunate circumstance for not only those two adults, but their families, their children. There's going to be gossip not only with the adults in their groups, but what about their teenage kids, or their college-bound kids, or even their junior high children? Listen to what they're going to have to go through. So there's going to be a deleterious effect. You're talking about divorce, you're talking about legalities, you're talking about separation of homes and material wealth that you have. You're talking about the separation of yourself from your children, custody issues. They have just created a firestorm. And don't forget, they got to pay these lawyers. These lawyers are not going to try to gain any resolution without getting paid first. And this turned into a real debacle and has been the talk of the adultery rumor mill for the summer. There's a lot of stuff going on. Sean Puffy Combs and his scenario, politicians that have been indicted, So that's another thing. I think it's tough to be a professional athlete, a celebrity in today's time, a politician in today's time. Look at how many politicians have gotten indicted, U.S. district attorneys that have gotten in trouble. There's a lot. There's a lot of eyeballs out here watching a lot of people, and you have to be very careful. And definitely what is in the dark will come to the light almost every time. Every time. So this situation with the CEO of Astronomer and the HR director is filled with hypocrisy and dichotomy all throughout the scenario. Their spouses haven't made much of a statement. I think they're probably married to some pretty smart individuals, and their spouses are going to do everything in private to resolve this embarrassment and this situation, while their character is being destroyed in the public. And I'm sure that they don't even want to go to the grocery store. Just think if you were in that situation, this KRISTIN CABOT and all the people and women that she knows, and women love to gossip. She probably can't even go to the grocery store. They probably both of them want to move out of Massachusetts immediately. And if they are both coming from wealthy families, there's a lot of money and a lot of wealth in the Boston area and Massachusetts, for sure. You have Martha's Vineyard, you have Harvard, you have great universities there. There's a lot of networking that goes on in that state, and then definitely in the city of Boston. And so there's going to be a lot of talk about all of this that has gone on. Yeah, Foxborough. So there's a lot of money out there, and there's a lot of competition. And one slight move, it's just like I'm giving the comparison to sports. Especially the NFL. You're an NFL quarterback, you go down by an injury, or you're not doing well in the beginning, there are like 4 or 5 quarterbacks waiting to take your place. It's the same way in the business world. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And if you make one mistake, there is another person waiting to become the next CEO or the next head of HR. It is impossible for her to be the head of HR, not only at Astronomer, but she may never get that position again when you have to make decisions based on what she is being accused of. Workplace relationships, affairs on the job, sexual harassment, harassment in the work environment. The HR director is supposed to make sure that in that company that there is a healthy work environment. And again, if your personal life is not intact, there is no way that your public life could be intact. You have to get your personal affairs in order first before you can go out and be the CEO of a company or the head of an HR department. So there is some fragmentation that has been taking place in those 2 marriages, and some unhappiness. And these 2 individuals went about this the wrong way, and this is going to follow them forever. Andy BYRON may never get a chance to be a CEO of a company again, and KRISTIN CABOT may never get a chance to be the head of any department, let alone HR again. Tell me what you think. I just wanted to bring up some of the caveats to this scenario, that is not just that this deleterious effect is just not about adultery and divorce. Andy BYRON's wife could possibly sue KRISTIN CABOT for pain and suffering, along with what she's going to get from Andy, her husband. There are going to be a lot of family law, legal issues that are going to take place in this scenario. And it looks like both of them may be headed for divorce. Tell me what you think. Thank you for listening to the Trevor Donald Experience Live. Let's stay conscious, aware, positive, and let's make every attempt to try to do the right thing each and every day. Please check out my channel, the Trevor Donald Experience. Subscribe, like, and share.